Alright, this is my Axial SCX10 III Jeep Gladiator. I've had nothing but problems with this thing when I got it. First battery went fine, second battery, dig servo was out, third battery, motor was out. Horizon has decided to send me this finally because nothing else seems to get it working, so we're going to try to install this today. I've already unboxed it. Here's what we're looking at. On-off switch. They've got these little tabs all the way around it. I've put it in the same location as what it is in the truck. Plug to the battery, plugs to the motor, plugs for lights already pre-installed and everything. This is your receiver, speed controller in one. It's got your bind button on top. Here. Tells you on the side everything you got. Program, upgrade, channel 1, auxiliary 2. Use channel 1 for steering. Auxiliary 1 is what DIG is supposed to be hooked into. Auxiliary 2 is where you can, like, if you had another radio, you could hook your 2-speed transmission into. Comes with some double back tape for attaching them to the chassis. And what appears to be everybody's favorite thing, you get some stickers. You've also got the book. Excuse me. You can download this online. I looked through it online. I have found misprints within this. For instance, we're talking about binding. Begin with no battery connected. It does not tell you when to connect the battery, but it does tell you to power it on, which you cannot power on without a battery. We'll get to trying to bind it later. The stock radio, DX3. It's tricky to get it to bind for some reason. I don't know why. So this is the truck. This is what we will be attempting to pull out and put a new one in. I'm guessing the double back tape is going to be tough, but we'll find out. So let's get started. These have been around for over 20 years. They're Bowlink. When changing the motor, putting the new gear in, I actually snapped the tip off of that one. So I'm planning on going out and getting some new ones today. First off, for the top, you have to take these two screws out in order to take the panel off. First time I did this, I dropped a screw and could not find it anywhere. It was stuck to the side of the motor. This can be tricky to take off. Up front here, I don't know if you can tell, under the wires it kind of hangs up. You just got to wiggle it, play with it. Sometimes you got to pull this piece back here to give yourself enough room to pull it out. Once you get that, it should come right out. There's the aftermarket motor they gave me to put in. the wires on the motor, the replacement motor they send you, are a little short. So you've actually got to wedge it between the shock tower and the transmission to get them out of the way so that you can get that panel on. There's plenty of room underneath to get it. Boy, that does not want to come unplugged now. Well, this is interesting. Rear back needs better pliers. Can't get it. I did not expect this to be this hard to come out because it was not that difficult to get the other one out. Just gonna be careful with this. There we go. Slide the insulators back up. And this one's the same way, it's someone to pull loose. Well, at least you know you got good connection if it's like that. Okay, that's loose. Pull everything out of the zip tie so I can get that steering swivel wire out of the way. Dig the swivel wire, which we might pull that out while we're at it. Alright, let's just give this thing a little pull first. Wow, that is in there. So, let's give it a try with the screwdriver. That is a double back foam tape. Alright. So there's a tape on the back side. Looks kind of like the stuff I used to use when I raced pan cars. Alright. I honestly do not feel like messing with the dig at the moment. I just won't plug it in. They did send me, if I can find it. They did send me a Moto Gear aftermarket servo. SCX10 it's the same one that's in there, so it's a direct replacement, and then they've got a extension 3 arm, which is odd. So this one's got a shorter arm than what this one has. But it comes with an extension with it, and then they sent another extension. Okay. Whatever floats your boat. This was the motor that they sent. And they sent a 14 tooth. I swapped and put an 11 tooth in. So we'll see how that works out. Try to gear down a little bit. Alright, we need to clean up some of this residue that's left behind. Got alcohol prep pads here. I don't have any Goo Gone on hand or just regular rubbing alcohol in a bottle, so I'll use these. Seem to be working fine. Just gotta make sure it dries all the way. Oh yeah, it's pulling that stuff right up. Not bad if you don't mind it smelling like a hospital. It's all stuff behind now and marks from where the screwdriver was. This one pad's all set. Alright. Give that a second to dry. Well, I know I had... I'm all the time losing stuff. They're there. That is definitely a different tape that was sent with one than what they use on them originally. It's much smaller. So make sure I get this in focus for you. Smaller piece. If you can see the thickness of this versus the thickness of this, it's definitely not the same tape. So I'm hoping this stuff will hold as well as this did, because this still has enough on it. What I might do is use the part for the switch too, because they have it to where you can put it on the switch and stick the switch somewhere else. Well, if this stuff will dry the rest of the way, I want to get this all the way up against the inside rail, and then I'm thinking I want to move it forward a little. I think where I want to put it is against this inside rail, and I've got a stop here. I think I want to put it right there. That gets it close to middle and forward as I can get it. Still easily access the on-off switch. Gets it away from the dig servo, so that'll be easier to work with. Yeah, I think that'll work. Go ahead and get this double back on here. Use both pieces just because I can. Well, send it, might as well use it, right? I cannot believe it's taken that long for us to try. Oh, it is dry, it's just... There we go. Alright. Well, if I can get the tape peel off. There we go. This is the easy part. Get it lined up, pressed into place. That definitely feels strong enough. Okay. Plug the negative. Strong connection. It's always a good sign. Plug in the positive. Wedge these back down and underneath. Steering. If I can read it. If you hear all that scratching, I've got a bearded dragon who is begging to get out of her tank. But she decided to play in her poop, and I do not feel like getting sick. So she can wait until I'm done with the video, and then I'll give her a bath. Alright. Now we make sure everything gets in underneath. Pull this piece back forward so we can wedge this under that wire. Lines up. Try to make sure you got play without it pinching anything, because that's kind of tricky. Because it seems like it's a tight fit for this thing. There we go. Because the wires definitely have plenty of room to get through. Should be able to have some room to pull it without it catching and hanging out. Wrenches back out, reinstall the brace screws. Alright. Battery I'll be using. It's one that they suggested, so why not go with what's suggested? I've got this in a 3-cell. Alright. So everything's plugged in. I'll probably use a little piece of tape or something to take this stuff in for now. So white is for your front lights, red is for the back lights. Get your steering hooked up, motor hooked up. The instructions in the Gladiator guide doesn't say anything. See if I can find it real quick for binding. Connect a fully charged battery pack. Binding. Begin with no battery connected. So the one I found works is the one that is actually with the Gladiator itself. This is the binding one that works. This one does not. You have to start with the battery connected. Otherwise, when you go to power it on, how does it power on? It doesn't. So you plug that in, hold down your bind button, which I'll show you on the old one. Bind button. Right here, so you will hold down bind, and you'll flip on the receiver. It'll do some flashes. When it starts flashing solid red is when you're supposed to then go to the remote. So flip it on, it's flashing green. It is not supposed to be flashing like that. It's supposed to be solid red. Huh. Something's not right. We have steering and no throttle. Something is wrong because that is a new piece I just put in with a new motor, new controller. Something's not right. It's got the same, it's flashing the same code that this one was flashing, which means this one might still be good. If anyone has any clue what is wrong with this thing, please let me know, because apparently Horizon Hobby does not know what they're talking about. Because they sent me a new dig servo, which I haven't installed yet, and you see I don't even have it plugged in. You're not supposed to have it plugged in when you bind it. They've sent me a new motor. They've sent me a new receiver, speed control. Nothing's working. I'm getting the same problem out of it. I wonder what happens if I plug this in. Nothing. If anyone has any clue, please holler at me. Let me know what's going on, and hopefully we can figure this thing out. Thanks.